Greetings. This is Arvette McLean with Speak, The Universe Listens. New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
Hey y'all.
Hey.
So listen, I had actually, I was traveling for like 3 months and going to like some really beautiful, beautiful places. And so when it was time for me to come home, so many people were saying, oh, you gotta go home, or, either I was like, I come home tomorrow and I'm putting like dances, dancing emojis or whatever. And people are like, why you dancing? And I was just like, I love home.
Right.
And they were like, really? And so I thought that was really funny because I guess, there was a time when, I probably didn't love home. I don't think it was that I didn't love home. I just didn't love pretty much my life. Mm-hmm. And so, but with everybody having that reaction, I was just thinking like, dang, I really love my life. Like, I really love my life. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about how to love your life, because like I said, there was a time when I didn't. Mm-hmm. And I know a lot of people don't love their lives for sure. And then a lot of people are kind of like middle of the road, like, yes, it's all right. Sometimes it's good, sometimes, it can be better. But like, how can we really love our lives?
Ooh, man. I think I was there right in the midst of, I'm okay, I'm all right. But the biggest thing is learning to show gratitude and appreciate what you have, because I was coming from more of like thinking I didn't have what I wanted, but I already had it, not really having the awareness of knowing that. So appreciating everything that you have now and knowing that you got it now. So that's one of the big things I would say.
Yeah, I would say for me, I probably was like you in the middle, like, I'm alright, like, I ain't got nothing too crazy. But I think when it really switched for me and I started like really loving my life was when I realized I kind of put it like it's all a part of my story. And when you introduced me to, it didn't happen to you, it happened for you, that really made me appreciate everything in my life, because I'm like, oh, like all these things made me like this person I am today, and I love who I am. Like I love everything about me, and that made me realize, okay, all of this is just a part of my story, and I got the ability to create the life I want at any time. And so that made me appreciate it, start loving my life more, because also when it's something we don't like about our lives, we got the ability to change it. Like, we got the ability to change it like right now, like in this moment. So that makes me appreciate life more.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was kind of exactly what I was thinking as well. Like, I started to love my life when, it sounds so cliche and so, everybody says all the time, I started to love my life when I became more honest with myself about the things I didn't like. But it wasn't like, oh, I need to go do some deep fixing to change it. It was like, okay, now let's switch those. Like, it was like, okay, the minute I started, because I used to like be in there like, ain't nothing too bad, ain't nothing too good, ain't nothing too crazy. But I always felt like when I was in that space, I was also always limiting myself. So it was never too good was because I never wanted it to be too good. Mm-hmm. So it was like, well, be honest about what you want and then do it. Yeah. And so that's kind of when I started loving my life, when I was like, oh, I don't want to just settle for just this. Like, I remember, sorry, I'm on a rant now, but I remember once me and Rob might have been about 15. I was like, yeah, that'd be cool if I just make a couple $100,000, and that'd be my life. Nice house, I don't need a mansion. I literally used to limit myself. Like, we would play this little game, Mash, and like every time I would get like the mediocre things and be like, no, I'm cool here. But like, why? So I definitely started loving my life when I started loving the fact that I did desire more. and did have something that I was like, oh, well, let's get that now.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's crazy, like in life, how the limitations can stop us from doing so many things. Cause it's like, I used to be like, man, I want to travel the world. But then I was like, oh, but I gotta get on a plane to do that. Like, I gotta do this to do that. And then after I traveled, I'm like, oh, this day, like, I want to do this all the time. Yeah, so it's, the limitations that we have on ourselves is really big impact on our life, because it stops us from experiencing so much.
Mm-hmm. I would say something else too that just made me feel even better, you know, and appreciate myself even more and loving myself is taking accountability. So like taking accountability on setting the attention for myself. Like, hey, you know you want to be happy. Be happy. You know what I'm saying? You know you want to feel a certain way, will feel a certain way. So just every day setting the attention for myself on what I truly wanted. And that sort of got rid of the feelings of, you know, the things I didn't want. And I wasn't thinking about that as much. So
that's what I was about to say next. Another key thing that I would tell people that kind of, I feel like changed my life was when I learned about keeping my mind on things that I do want and not what I don't want. Because like once that got, like, I drilled that in my head, it changed my life for good, because I'm like, certain things I don't even look at the same way, or certain things like I don't even think about, like, because if I don't want that, why am I even talking about that, you know?
Right.
So I feel like that was a big change in my life too.
So I like everything that y'all said, and Stephen kind of collapsed the several things into one, and I wanted to break it down a little bit. Because you say gratitude, you say appreciation, you say now. So, and you know, gratitude and appreciation are so similar, but they really are different things. And I always like to make sure people are aware that appreciation is a slightly higher vibration than gratitude. So gratitude is pretty much being thankful for things that have happened. You're thankful for this because this has happened. You're thankful for that because that's in your life or whatever. Where an appreciation is looking at something and just, I don't want to use the same word, but kind of like loving on the qualities of that thing. And so, you know, if I'm looking at a mountain, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like that mountain is just so huge and all encompassing, and it makes me feel some kind of way. Like I'm really, you know, giving attention to, you know, wow, this green is just so deep and dark, and it gives me chills, you know, to look at. So, you know, to appreciate a person, you know, like I can always say thank you, right? I can be in gratitude for things you've done, for your presence or whatever, but to appreciate you would be like, you know, you're just one of the kindest people, you know, that I've ever met, and you know, you're just so smart, and you know, like you really, it's like a different vibration, and so both are very high vibrational things, and so making sure, as you say, that we're in a state of gratitude, that we're in a state of appreciation, and then what he said that was so key is now. Now, because you know, a lot of times we think about the past, we think about the future. Nothing wrong with that, but you can't live your life in the past or in the future. You can only live it right now, and everything vibrates to what you're feeling right now. And so when you're in that state of appreciation or gratitude, or you know, just feeling good about life in general, now is your point of attraction. So now is what creates the future. And so a lot of times we'll say, you know, I can't wait till I finish school. Once I finish school, then I'll be happy. Or once I find a mate, then I'll be happy. Or once I have a new dog, then I'll be happy. But like really switching it to finding ways to be happy right now in this moment.
It's when you said now, it's funny you said that because I was thinking just for me to be in the now moment, like to feel the way that I feel, one thing I do is I buy a lot of motivational artwork. So in my home, I have each wall has something motivational on it, and I have a picture that says, "Not tomorrow, not to yesterday, I'm talking about now." and so I just make sure that I take a glance at that because that sort of just keeps me in the vibe of like, okay, we ain't thinking about yesterday, we think about now.
And to piggyback off what y'all saying, I think that was also a thing that had me like, life alright, but it ain't what I wanted to be. And that and I used to get caught in like, what's next for me? What's next? But I would never appreciate like what I have going on now and everything in my life now. And I think at the time that hindered me.
Okay.
I relate to that.
Appreciate my life.
Yeah, my bad. I was just saying I relate to that fully too because I used to always feel like the hardest moment to live in was always the present moment, and I don't know why I used to always feel that way. But then that flipped for me when I started thinking like, oh, my present is my past and my future. Like what I do in my present can change the way that I think about my past, and it's also creating the future that I want right now, because if I create what I want right now, then I also have it in the future. But that was one that I don't know how long it took me to get, but like it's one that I still try and make sure I hone in on every day. And now so much so that like now when I'm in conversations and people start thinking about the future, we got to do this or do that, I get a little frustrated, a little antsy sometimes because I'm like, well, how about we like really feel and appreciate where we at right now first? Like, it's a lot happening right here in this room. Like, a lot happening. Like, let's take that in for a second.
Well, you just said something so profound. You said that how you're feeling right now will affect how you felt about the past. And that's just so grand or whatever. Because you can literally change your past in that way. And that's one of the things that I really did was change my past. So like a lot of times, I'll say, like we've been taught to, you got to go back and you got to dig up and, dig up the past and analyze and figure out who did what to you, and that's why I'm like this, because that person did this thing to me, and and now I gotta go through this process of forgiveness, and it's not for them, it's for me, and like just this whole thing. It's kind of like our culture right now is what how we're being taught to, I guess, to grow is to dig up the past. And I'm saying you don't have to dig up the past, right? Not because I'm saying pretend like it didn't happen. Right. I'm saying change how you see it. And you can change how you see the past in the present moment by changing how you're vibrating, how you're feeling, how you're thinking right now. And it will change, just like Rodney was just saying. Once he was like, oh, this all happened for me? Okay, well then it's no longer a dagger. It's no longer anything to be mad at because you did this to me. I'm no longer mad about that. So it's not like I'm pretending like it didn't happen and I'm throwing it under the rug. I'm literally changing how I'm relating to the past.
I think just to piggyback off what y'all saying, like I think about it like, everybody always say, you gotta forgive your parents. You gotta forgive your parents, and I think a lot of us get to a point where we can do that, but we also still act the same way as if we haven't. And what I mean by that, like I might say, yeah, I forgave my parents for doing this, but I still react to everything the same way, that I feel I got from them or whatever. So it's like, when I'm able to look at, like for me, when I was able to be like, nah, they were doing the best they can. Like, I can't imagine having no kids right now, So like, I just switched it, and that was so big for me because it's like, oh, I don't have to react to this that way because I don't feel the same way about it no more. You know, and like y'all saying, I think that switch is big. It help you.
I think that was something, Rodney. Even for me, you know, I had like a tug of war. It was like a back and forth emotion where I'm not thinking about my past, but then something happens, and then now I start thinking about my past. And so I got to the point as to where I realized the more that I'm thinking about my past, I'm bringing that more into my present moment. So I'm like, okay, I don't want that. So how can I change that? And like we all said, start creating the now. So every day is just focusing on what is my attention for creating something, you know, new in my life that's gonna make me have that high vibration of love and how I just see myself being now, you know, not 2 years ago or yesterday, but, you know, now. So that's something that helped a lot.
Yeah. And then also it's like, when you really think about it, who want to be carrying that stuff all around?
There you go. Yeah.
And that's why I love the song by Erykah Badu, Bag Lady. Because it's like, who want to be carrying all those bags? It's like, we're going to do this forever? Like, you know, I just be thinking about stuff like that now. I'd be like, hold on, I'm going to let that like affect the rest of like my time here? Nah. I can't do that.
Yes, I carried all that stuff like it was a badge of honor. And it's almost like a comfort zone to carry that stuff. And I remember when I had started contemplating the ideal of giving it up, and it scared me. Because I was like, okay, so if I give it up, then who would I be? You know, and then, but I just kind of worked my way through it or whatever, and I decided to let it go.
Let it go.
And letting it go is, I would say, one of the ways that I ended up loving my life. But I think, you know, we can talk about tools all day long of how to love your life, because I can probably come up with 10 more things off the top of my head of things. But I really think that all you got to do is claim it.
That's it.
Just claim the reality that you want. Because we're already it now. We're already everything right now in the present moment. And so the only thing that's keeping us from seeing it is that we don't believe it. And so, but we can claim it. So we can choose. Do we want to claim the reality that our eyes are seeing? Is that the reality we want to claim? Or do we want to claim something different? And it's our choice. And so we can just claim, I love my life. I love my life. And then when you start claiming it, then things will start showing up that will give you that vision, like, yeah, see, I love that. I love that.
Right.
And I remember I was always, and I already said this before plenty of times, but like my mom and my dad would always say things like, I can't win for losing.
I heard that a lot. Yeah.
I'll never, if it's the, you know, I'll never be the winner or whatever. And so I would mimic that too. I would always be like, I know I ain't winning. I can't win for losing. I can't win for losing. And then I had became aware of my language. And I was like, I'm gonna just start saying something different. And so I started saying, I always win. I win everything. And then I literally was winning every single thing. Like I was just winning everything, just in me changing what I was saying. And I was just like, oh my God, I really do win everything. I just win everything. And so, but then I would have all this stuff that I didn't want. You know, I'm winning all this stuff that other people may have wanted, but I didn't want it. So I'm like, well, that's not fair for me to just have it, you know, and I don't really want it. And so I'm like, okay, now I have to let other people win some stuff or whatever. And then while I'm thinking about that, I remember I was doing this, I used to do these affirmations, and I would say something like, every day and every way I'm getting blank. So I could say, every day and every way I'm getting better and better, or every day and every way I'm getting stronger and stronger, every day and every. And so No, that's not the one. No, what I used to say was all I need is within me now.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All I need is within me now. And so I would change it up, and I'd be like, all the joy I need is within me now. All the love I need is within me now. And so one day I was saying, oh, the charm I need is within me now. And I just was like, oh, the charm I need. And so when I'm saying my affirmations, I would really be feeling it, right? And so if I'm saying, oh, the charm I need, so I'm just feeling myself being a charming person. And so, oh my gosh, the day that I say that, I was just bombarded with people just at me, males and females, just telling me how much they're in love with me. I mean, I remember this one female saying, listen, I promise you that I'm not gay.
That's how she came on.
Right? It's like, I promise you, but I just love you. I just love you so much, or whatever. But anyway, that particular day, it was just so overwhelming. So many people. I was like, I'll never say that affirmation ever again, or whatever. But it's really about just claiming your reality.
I want to add to that, claiming your reality. I think these days, what I like to drill in people's head is like, we got the power to make that decision right now, like literally as we speaking. Like, so I try to tell people that all the time, like, we have that power to make the decision, and it's a decision away.
Yeah, I like that.
And both of y'all kind of just said something that was just, I realized I really, really started to love my life when I started to recognize everything as a choice and a decision. And like the minute I started realizing like, oh, everything that I encounter is my choice and my decision, I then started, well, I'm just gonna make all the choices I love. And then as a result, I started to love the life that I was creating. But you had said something about choices and he said decision, and it drove it home for me that literally it's all choices and decisions.
I think too, like with your affirmation, one of mine that I talk to the guys at work about is like saying I am, and just letting them know like whatever you put after I am is what you are. So if you're saying I am, say I am love, I am happy. After a while, the more that you keep on saying it, the more that your mind has no choice but to believe it, and then you're gonna make it into a habit, and then every day you're just gonna be walking in whatever you put after I am, and you're gonna start to become that. And when I was doing it, I still do it, not every day, but I do it from time to time. But it makes me feel very good, but it also reminds me of like, hey, I am love, I am light. Sometimes I used to feel cocky when I first did it. I'm like, well, dang, I mean, I don't want to come off like but yeah, I would say that's another powerful tool to use.
And I can't close out without talking about your imagination, because your imagination is your most powerful tool for creation. And like one thing Stephen said was he would be in appreciation and gratitude for the things that he already has. So a lot of people would interpret that as whatever you have in your life, be thankful for it, be in appreciation of it in terms of what you can see, right? So you might be like, okay, I got a car, I got a family, and you be in gratitude for those things. And yes, right? But some people could make a case for, well, I don't have a car. I don't have a family that loves me. I don't, and they can't really think of things to be an appreciation for. Which of course is stuff all around us, but like sometimes you just can't see it. Like you can't see the beautiful flower that's sitting right there, or you can't see the sun. Like sometimes you're just that clouded. You just have that many veils. There's just too much going on and you're not able to see. But if you can imagine something beautiful, imagine a day of you loving your life, what would that look like? Just start taking time out to imagine. And when you imagine, use all your senses, like really feel the thing that you're imagining, really see it, really enjoy it, really be a part of it, it's the same thing. So do y'all love y'all's lives?
I sure do.
I love my life. So yeah, I feel like we could talk about this all day.
All day,
Yes. Yeah, so thank you guys for talking about this subject. It's just so many things that you can do to start opening that window, to start really loving your life. But the easiest thing I would say is just to go ahead and claim it and just start saying, I love my life. I love my life. I love my life. And just watch how things just begin to change for you. So thank you for joining us. And we look forward to chatting with you again next week. Until then, this is Arvette.
And this is Steve.
Teron.
Run.
Bye, y'all.